Hello, fellow NTPs and NTCs, and congratulations to the recent graduates of the NTA program. This is Nancy Rose. I am a nutritional therapy practitioner, owner and creator of Get It, the Roots Weight Loss. And I'm so excited to be sharing with you tonight 3 of my secrets that I've learned after working in the fitness and nutrition fields for about 20 years now, so that I can help you help your clients lose weight successfully and keep it off. And I want to quickly mention that the solution is not about eating less, what many of your clients will believe when they come to see you. I thought I'd start by sharing with you my before and after picture. When I carried my son 15 years ago, I gained just over 70 pounds. My son was about 10 pounds, and with the excess water weight that I was holding, I ultimately had about 50 excess pounds of body fat to lose when all was said and done. So I simply followed my Get At the Roots program, designed to speed up metabolism and optimize fat loss while I worked on correcting my root issues. I lost that weight within 6 months and have not put it back on since. So you might ask the question, why would you want to work with clients to lose weight? First and foremost, there is a huge market for weight loss. Approximately 100 million people are on diets in the United States. Americans spend an upwards of $60 billion annually on weight loss. And when I first started in the fitness and nutrition field, I quickly learned that I would guess about 90 to 95% of the people who came to see me wanted to lose weight. They could have a whole host of other issues and health problems, and yet it seemed that weight loss made itself to the top 1 or 2 priority on their intake forms. And I can guarantee that you won't have a hard time finding people who need and want to lose weight. So let's start with the secrets. I'm going to share 3 secrets with you tonight. Secret number 1 is understanding body composition. And what I mean by that is what the body weight is made up of. Muscle weight versus water weight versus fat weight. It's really important to understand this if you want to effectively help your clients. Let's start with muscle versus fat weight. You can see from this picture that on the left, there is 5 pounds of fat. And on the right, there's 5 pounds of muscle. Clearly, you can tell that the fat is taking up more space than the muscle is, yet they both weigh 5 pounds. In fact, 1 pound of fat takes up 18% more space than 1 pound of muscle. Muscle speeds up your resting metabolic rate. So the more muscle that you have, the higher your metabolism, meaning the more calories that you burn when you're just sitting there doing nothing. So we want to maintain muscle mass. And so many programs, when they're very calorie restricted, can actually cause the body to begin to break down muscle if not enough nutrition is being brought into the body. And this is a negative thing in the long run. So it's absolutely important that you're helping your clients to maintain their muscle mass while you're helping them to eliminate the excess body fat. We lose fat slowly. This is very important to understand and know. 1 to 2 pounds per week. And you probably heard those numbers before. And the reason for that is 1 pound of fat contains 3,500 calories. So for an individual to be losing more than that, they either are burning up a ton of calories, which is not as likely. It only happens on things like The Biggest Loser show, where they're exercising around the clock. So they have the ability to potentially burn off more calories, although there's negatives and detriments to that at the same time with all the stress that they're putting on their body. So this is important to understand. However, water weight can be gained and lost very quickly. In fact, I lost approximately 8 to 10 pounds of water weight in only 2 days after I had my son. So I'll share with you, this is right after I had my son. And then 2 days later when I returned home, you can see from my face the water weight that I'm holding. So clearly I didn't lose 10 pounds of fat, because if I had, I would have had to have burned off in excess of 35,000 calories. Exceedingly unlikely, okay? But we can gain and lose water weight very quickly, and that's important to understand. So what are some of the reasons why an individual will gain or lose water weight quickly? Digestive problems are probably the biggest thing. Food intolerances. Those are the two biggest things that you want to keep an eye out for and to educate your clients on, so that they can understand if they're gaining or losing weight from day to day, then this is a potential sign of digestive problems, or they have a sensitivity to food that they don't realize. I have my clients weigh themselves first thing in the morning for at least 2 weeks when I first start working with them, because I want to see if there's fluctuations in their weight. And I also want them to see this. And I want to educate them. And it's important to educate your clients so that they understand what kind of weight they're losing. They do want to lose the excess water weight that they're holding on to. That is important. But then once that's lost, they should be expecting 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss per week and not more. So some individuals may get discouraged because they think they should be losing more, but you need to educate them on the reality of it for long-term success, and so that they're really tapping into losing the excess water weight initially and then targeting body fat while maintaining muscle mass. And that's all about how you fuel the body dietarily to maintain that. Keep the metabolism moving so that they're burning the excess body fat, but also eating in a manner to maintain their muscle mass. So here's an example of one of my clients. This is Lynn. Lynn is 49 years old. She lost 50 pounds, 39.5 inches in 8 months. When she came to see me, she had digestive problems, some food intolerances, and adrenal and hormone issues. And so initially, as we worked on the digestive issues and removed the foods that she was having sensitivities to, she lost more weight in the beginning due to that water that she was retaining. But then beyond that, she tapered down to a 1 to 2 pound loss per week. And on average, throughout the 8 months, she lost 1.56 pounds per week. I often pose this question in my classes. I stand up in the front and I have a scale there, and I'll get on the scale. How much do you think I weigh? So I have a picture there for you, and I need to tell you that I'm 5 foot 10 inches. Most people will guess anywhere between 120 pounds to 150 pounds. And I do this for a purpose, because I want to educate on body composition. So let me share with you how much I do weigh. 175 pounds. I rarely, if ever, get anyone close to guessing my weight. But it's important to understand what that weight is composed of. Muscle weighs more than fat per volume, right? Remember that the 5 pounds of fat took up a lot more space than the 5 pounds of muscle. They both weighed the same, but the fat took up a whole lot more space. In fact, you could have two people with the same height, same weight, look completely different because of their body composition, because of the percentage of their body that's fat mass versus lean body mass. And you also need to take into consideration bone mass. Some individuals have bigger bones than others, and that's going to portray itself in their weight. I wanted to share the body mass index because this is used by a lot of physicians in determining if an individual is at a healthy weight, if they're overweight, or they're obese. However, it's not a chart that I use at all in my practice, because it can inaccurately put someone in a category that they shouldn't be in. So for instance, let's take my own example here. The body mass index is based on height and weight solely. In fact, it's not even differentiating here between men and women. So with that, you can see that based on my weight, I'm in the overweight category. So clearly, I'm not overweight, but this is something that you need to understand, because your clients may come to you and say, my BMI is high, my doctor says I'm overweight or obese, but you need to really educate them and determine and discover, well, what's the body composed of? How much of that is muscle mass versus bone mass versus body fat? Or how much excess water weight are they carrying due to some root issues? I'm a huge fan of monitoring progress. It's key to keeping your client motivated so that they can actually see how they're improving. I do the nutritional assessment questionnaire and functional evaluation with my one-on-one clients, and I always do the symptom burden graph comparison every month because it's a great way to show them how they're improving in their health. Weight, I do, as I mentioned before, I have them monitoring the progress, and I also monitor each time I see them. Body fat testing, because we need to know what their body composition is. We need to know how much is lean body mass versus body fat mass. And then I absolutely recommend doing circumference measurements and take a lot of different areas, make sure they're wearing not bulky clothes so it's as accurate as possible, and you're taking in the same area so that's as accurate as possible. You need to be able to show them where they're making progress. Let's move on to secret number 2, why individuals reach a plateau. Probably first and foremost is a low-calorie diet, what many of your clients will believe that they need to go on in order to lose the weight. And they will likely be successful, at least initially. But what happens is if you're not bringing in nutrients to supply the hormones and for the metabolism to be functioning optimally, what happens is your body will naturally lower down its metabolism. It'll treat it as if you were in a famine and go into starvation mode and conserve calories. And in the long run, that slows your metabolism down. You're not able to lose as much weight. You reach a plateau, often gaining the weight back and sometimes more. It's also a huge stress on the body when you're not supplying with it enough nutrients. And then you can have an impact on your adrenal hormones and subsequently your thyroid and sex hormones, and everything can get thrown off balance. You end up reaching a plateau, get frustrated, you're probably crabby, and end up not having long-term success. Another thing that I had mentioned earlier is the body can begin to break down muscle if it's not getting enough nutrients and the blood sugar is too low. The body may begin to break down muscle to raise the blood sugar. And this obviously is detrimental because we want to maintain muscle mass because that's helpful for your metabolism in the long run. The Get at the Roots program is very much not about low-calorie diets at all. In fact, one of the things that I hear more than anything is it's hard to eat this much food. And yet people are losing weight and inches because it's about fueling the body and keeping the metabolism revving, bringing in enough nutrients to supply hormones and brain chemistry. And in order for that to happen, you need to be adequately nourished. And it's not about restricting the calories, it's about getting your metabolism to work for you. Second reason why an individual will reach a plateau is toxins. We store toxins in our fat tissues, oftentimes to protect organs. Yet when you start breaking up the fat, these toxins are released and they're now in circulation, which they can then go and impact other organs, and particularly the thyroid, which would impact metabolism. So it's important that the digestive system is functioning really well and your detox pathways are open, so when you begin to break down the fat, you're able to eliminate those toxins stored in the tissue, and you don't have problems that ultimately lead to a plateau. And the third reason is root issues that have not been corrected. The Get at the Roots program is about correcting the 10 root underlying causes of weight gain for long-term success. So it's important that those root issues are fully corrected. This leads me to secret number 3, which is correcting those root issues. I'm a firm believer that you should not reach a plateau until you have reached your ideal weight. And that if you do reach a plateau, it's a sign that you have root issues that have not been corrected yet. If you're following a diet that's nourishing the body and you're not on a calorie-restricted diet and you're reaching a plateau, then there are root issues that have not been corrected yet. I'm just going to quickly share with you some information about one of those root issues, which is food sensitivities. There are 4 ways that food sensitivities will hinder weight loss. First and foremost, food sensitivities can cause damage to the intestinal wall lining, causing an inflammatory response. A recent study on overweight kids has linked food sensitivities and inflammation to weight gain. The overweight kids had a 2.5-fold higher level of IgG antibodies to foods and a 3-fold higher level of inflammation as measured by C-reactive protein tests compared to the normal weight kids. So that's important. Identifying and removing those food sensitivities can be key to your client's success. Another thing that can happen with foods that individuals are sensitive to is it can lead to insulin resistance and higher levels of insulin. We know that insulin is released from the pancreas to take the blood sugar, the sugar in the blood, and store it, right? We only have so many areas in the muscles and the liver, and any excess gets stored as fat. So if you're in this constant insulin release from eating foods you're sensitive to, you're going to be in this mode to store fat. Can also lead to water retention due to the digestive issues. And it can cause an allergy addiction. Oftentimes people are addicted to the foods that they have a sensitivity to, which can cause difficulty with their weight problems because it's hard to get away from that food. So if they understand that and you educate and then you're able to determine those food sensitivities, then more likely to steer clear of them when they understand it. I wanted to quickly share with you a testimonial of one of my clients. This is Tracy. In 2013, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And when she came to see me, she had been on many diets in her past and had success, but then would reach a plateau and gain the weight back. And so she was a little bit hesitant to start, but because of this MS diagnosis, she had a little bit more motivation. But because of that hesitancy, I said, why don't you follow the program for 5 days and see how you feel? And built within the Get at the Roots program is a 5-day program designed particularly for this. For those individuals that are hesitant to begin and they need to get their feet wet a little bit. So here's what she said. I lost over 4 pounds and 2.5 inches in 5 days. I suffered from depression, low self-image, and constant digestive distress. I was overweight, suffering from asthma and allergies and persistent diarrhea. In this after photo, you can see Tracy lost 76 pounds. She's actually down 84 pounds consistently, and we're going 3 years out now. She says, I know how to listen to my body, and I feel great. I no longer take any medication for allergies, asthma, or digestive issues, and I'm able to control symptoms of MS, all through the dietary changes recommended through the Get at the Roots program. My self-confidence has returned, and so has that sparkle in my eye. Now, the difference between her attempts in the past to lose weight and her attempts with the Get at the Roots program is that she did not correct the root issues that she had previously. But once she corrected those issues, she was able to see success and maintain it. Unfortunately, I can't share any more information with you tonight because I'm limited on time, but I would love to. And if you're interested, I have free information for you on how I used weight loss to boost my business and make more money in less time. And I'd love to send that to you. It's merely a 10-minute short video. And I go into how I used weight loss to create a full schedule of clients. But then when the time was necessary and I needed to be home with my son, I was a single mom for many years, I was able to then take that and shift and instead begin to work only a handful of hours using the Get at the Roots program and create enough income to support my son and myself with only a handful of hours a week. So I'd love to share that information with you if you're interested. Simply just email me, Nancy@getatheroots.com, And mention this webinar as well as that you would like this free information on how you can boost your business using weight loss. If you have any questions for me at all, type them in there. We will be entertaining the questions at the end of the webinar. And if you don't have an opportunity on the webinar tonight, certainly contact me. Feel free to contact me with your questions, email or cell phone. Please leave me a message on my cell phone. Oftentimes I'm not able to get to it, but I will return your call within 24 hours typically. So please leave a message if that's the case. And certainly check out the website, Get at the Roots NTP, for more information on the Get at the Roots program. And if you have any questions about it or feel like it might be a potential fit for you, I'd love to talk to you about that. I wish all of you the success in your practices. You have so much knowledge. Get out there and share it. You just don't know how many lives you might change.